Talking Track is live. Appreciate you. What it do? What it do? What it do? Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the show. My name is UltimatDJz. This is Talking Trek Live, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast. Welcoming you into a Talking Trek server sound off. You guys go ahead and punch it up in chat as we bring you updates tonight on what is going on with combat mechanics, the Christmas Angel Fund, a Battle Pass giveaway, and so much more. Lots of stuff happening over in the Talking Trek community. So, let's not waste any time, shall we? Let's get into it. What's going on? Iron Chef, aloha. Server 14, thank you, Turpy. Server 30, Counselor Half on Server 20. What's going on? Appreciate you being here. Scaling back from the Outback on 188. Ranger of Chaos on 711. Alpha Cypher on 21. What's going on, Zach? 84. We got up there. Oh, goodness gracious. Chat's bouncing all around. Scud on 26. Thank you. MJ 36. Ben to the Robot on 51. Thank you. Turmoil Server 63. What's up? Kevin on 145. Battlebomb 17. Silver Tab 33. Aardvark 153. Max Borg on 138. Captain Taylor on 27. 1218 on 98. Shelby, shout out. Server 701. Isaac on 8. J-Babes on 13. Broken Wolf on 99 on 137. Riker's Vengeance on Server 20. NetNib on 105. Lost In joining us on Server 45. What's going on? Spacewalker on 118. Fun Sucker on 701. Wilson on 36. Tony Pie says 86. Lizard. Apox, European 134. Trek Diva on 86. LASIK on 702. And Simone European 157. Domo on Server 700. KA Knowledge on 74. Irish Kev on 140. Q-Dog hanging out also on Shelby's 701. Mariachi on Server 188. What's going on over there? Polish Prince on 24. Popo, Server 201. Polar Bear on 15. Grouchy Outlaw on 84. Anubis on 201. Engineering on 36. How many lizards? 701 lizards. Lizard. Lots of lizards. Good evening, everybody. Darkfire on 30, Swag on 34, and the list goes on. Thank you guys so very much. Good evening. Welcome into the show. My name is UltimatDJz, and I'm proud to be the host of this amazing community.
DJ,
what
is wrong with you?
Why now? Why? All the things. Okay, listen, let's get the alerts out of the way. You guys just do the alert thing real fast. I've got an alert to replay, and then we're going to turn them off. All right, so you're running out of time. Tarpy, what's going on? Welcome to the show. How are ya? Oopsie.
Doing okay.
Long time no see. How are you? Sugar.
Right.
Yeah, I know. It's been absolutely ages. KA Knowledge dropping a gifted sub to Sugar Red in the chat. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Zek on a 40 stream streak right now. That is insane. Tony Pie on 40 stream streak. Turmoil on the 7. Spacewalker on the 10. Tony Pie, thank you for the bits. Polish Prince also on the 40 stream streak. Balabom has asked me to
about this.
I did not. I won. I say I. My team and I won how many today, Tarpy? We played 15.
That pisses me because I wanted more balls.
You know, now that's the one that I didn't need. We won 13 battle blitzes in Fortnite earlier today. And we came in second place. Second place only once. Third place only once. Seventh place twice. And then 13 Battle Royale crowns. 13 wins. And so, as a result, we gave away 15, actually, are in the process of giving away 15 battle passes right now. Yeah,
you're the best.
15.
Okay, so how do people do that?
It was around 6 or
right
7.
now?
I don't remember. Yeah, listen, if you're in the podcast right now, you've got a
I'm
little
so positive.
what?
I'm full of positive energy.
If you're listening in podcast right now, be it on Playback, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Podbean, all the rest, Google Music, Amazon Podcasts, and all the rest of them. Thank you very much, by the way. Appreciate that. You can visit our Discord, all right? You can link to it over by visiting the website at TalkingTrekSTFC.com. Find the link to the Discord. Hop on down into the contest, spam it room, and you can enter to win. We've got 15 battle passes that will be drawn for at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Monday, November the 10th, all right? So you've got, from the time of taping, you got about 26 hours, all right, to get in there and get yourself all registered. We did also give away 3 additional battle passes live on the Twitch stream earlier today. So that would be, Tarby, if I'm doing my math right, that would be 18 battle passes that are being given away on this show here today. 18. What?
Dang.
That's insane.
Looks like
I can't even do the
almost
math on that.
$400.
Almost $400 giving it away right here today. Man, who's killing my miners right now? Broski's killing my miners. Who that? Who that be? Wham! Oh, my God, it's Wham! It's Wham, that silly little Wham Meister. Wham is killing my miners. Why, man? I got to get my dailies done, and I got to do a podcast now. Lizard. Thank you, Irish Kev. Appreciate that very much. Thank you to everybody. Listen, go get yourself registered for a pod or for the battle passes. All right, be sure to go do that. Get yourself registered. Before I turn off the alerts, Tarpy, I have a very important one that I would like to replay. This was absolutely incredible. A couple of weeks ago, we were doing a stream. We played marbles, and Johnny Five had an opportunity to win a $100 pack. That's what he did. Johnny Five won a $100 pack, and then he sends me a message here just a little bit ago and says, "Hey DJ, I would like for you to take my $100 pack and drop it into the Christmas Angel Fund." So that is what we did. Thank you very much, Johnny Five. Johnny Five is alive. No disassemble. Johnny Five dropped $100 into the Christmas Angel Fund, which means then, Tarpy, that we now have $12,131.28 in the Christmas Angel Fund, and we are on our way to funding floor number 3. That means 2 floors completely knocked out, and we appreciate you guys so very much. There it is. Johnny Five is alive, donating $100 into the Christmas Angel Fund. Thank you. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Appreciate you so very much. You, too, can scan the QR code on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen if you're watching. If you're listening in podcast, again, go ahead and come on over and find the link in the Discord, and we'll get you a QR code set where you can actually go directly to the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital Jingle Toy Drive page and donate to the Christmas Angel Fund directly. And that way you get a tax deduction receipt. You can do all the stuff, like get it right off on your taxes and all the things, Tarpy. So, and we never even have to touch that money. And I will point out, just like I was asked earlier today, how can I do that if I don't want to put my real name out there, but I need a real name on the tax receipt? Totally easy. When you go to the website for the Jingle Toy Drive and you click on the donate button, all right, you can absolutely come down here. I'm going to show you here on screen. You can come down here to the place where you can type in your name. All right, but then you can hide your name from the public, which is completely fine. Then you can come down right here to the comments, and you can put your screen name in on the comments. That way, when it comes through on the Jingle Toy Drive page, it will show anonymous. All right, but we'll still have your name in the comments so that we can attribute it and do it over here on the channel, just like we did here a little bit ago for Johnny Five. All right, so thank you so very much. I really do appreciate that. That is so kind. That is available on our Discord page. You can find that. Come on over and link that from TalkingTrekSTFC.com. So $12,131.28. That's absolutely incredible. Thank you. Irish Kev over here just spamming the pity bitties. Thank you so very much. Appreciate that. Tony Pie, thank you for the bits. Silver Tab, thank you for the streak. 60 plus 225 minus roughly 6 or 7. Broken Wolf, thank you for the 60 stream streak. Lost In dropping 200 bits. Broken Wolf with 200 bits. KA Knowledge dropping a gifted sub. Lost In dropping another 10 bomb. Because right now there's a treasure train going on. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. Also, Tarpy, I'm going to remind the community of something else that we're doing with the Christmas Angel Fund, which is absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to direct your attention here to our screen yet again. For those of you who might have missed content in the last 24 hours, I had received a communication, Tarpy, from a marketing agency. And they are representing apparently several different Scopely products right now. Of course, Star Trek Fleet Command, and they had Marvel Strike Force and Monopoly Go and all this stuff. Well, I had pretty much put those away. All right, I wasn't going to take that. But then the marketing agency said, hey, listen, not a big deal. We just want you to make a couple of Discord posts for Star Trek. Okay, well, that's fine. You're not going to get new players here. Yeah, no, that's fine. We just want you to make a couple of posts. All right, fine, cool. All right, we're going to give you money. Great. That's excellent. Then Marvel Strike Force reaches out, which is another Scopely product. And I had actually dismissed that email. I wasn't going to take it. Then I was talking with the community, Tarpy, and as it turned out, the community was actually very much majority in favor of taking this. All right, and I was a little bit surprised by it. Hey, what's going on? What's going on over there, Griffin? How are you, baby boy? Welcome into the show.
This sounds like the greatest scam of all time. I don't know how it's a scam, but it sounds like a scam.
Well,
I'm not sure what's going on.
Let me tell you what is happening here, okay? So first of all, we got this email. They were like, hey, listen, we'd like you to do a campaign for us. And I thought, well, I'm not really interested in playing this game, not something that I really want to do. But then the community said a couple of key things to me, Griffin. And I was thinking about this, and they were like, listen, how about you take the campaign? If you're not going to do the campaign anyway, right, how about you take the campaign? And how about we take all of the proceeds and dump it into the Christmas Angel Fund?
I love that plan.
I thought that was beautiful. All right. The community actually wanted to take Scopely's money and put it into the Christmas Angel Fund. And I thought, well, this is great. This is beautiful. I love it. So we set this up yesterday live on stream. I wasn't planning on doing this at all. So very impromptu. We set it up live on stream and launch it literally ad hoc. Boom, there it goes. All right, we hit the button and went live right in the middle of the stream. And I promised full transparency, Griffin. I promised full transparency. Every penny of this campaign, I'm going to show you the dashboard every single day. I'm going to show you everything that you need to see to know where we are and the transparency behind how much money is coming in. And I said, listen,
well, that's great.
We're going to do that, and we're going to take 100% of that, and we're going to dump it into the Christmas Angel Fund for the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee. Tony Pye, thank you for your 100 kitty bitties. Wheels, thank you for your 6-month resub. J-Babes dropping a 5-bomb. Lost in dropping a 10-bomb. Thank you guys so much. You're level 3 on a treasure train over here in the live studio audience. So the requirements were simple, Griffin. There was a special link. And as a matter of fact, I think I can even I'll even pop that up on your screen here for a second if you'd like to take a look at it. There's the QR code. And you can go and you can download Marvel Strike Force using our special link. Okay? Now, if you
didn't we already play that once, or was that a different game?
It was a different one. I thought about that. The one we had done a couple of years ago was Marvel Future Revolution, I believe is what it was. So, and then we did a Marvel Snap. See, Marvel's all over the place. Okay. So,
Snap. I remember Snap.
And we did Snap.
Okay.
See, look, right there. A new player just reached level 30 just now. Good job. Good job. Excellent. Now,
perfect.
Here's the deal, Griffin. Here's the deal. If we have, here are all the different metrics for monetization for this campaign. All right. We got to have 40 people download the game. Well, we're well beyond that. We got to have 40 people reach level 2. Hit that one. 40 people hit level 5. Hit that one. Now we're on to level 10, where we've got 37 so far out of the people who need to level 10. This is going to go all the way up to level 70. Okay. Which is absolutely wild when you think about it, because this is very, very grindy. Okay. I mean, to hit level 70 is big time. Now, apparently it's very, very possible. I hit level 20 myself last night just playing around. Okay. So apparently level 70 is going to be something that might be possible within the 14-day campaign period. But what I actually thought about was actually something kind of cool. And I give the community credit for kind of reminding me of this, is that this is an opportunity for those of you who may want to do something for the Christmas Angel Fund but may not be in a position to give cash, right? Tarpy, I mean, listen, the world is a really weird place right now. The economy's tough on a lot of people, and there are uncertainties all across the world, all right? And your heart's in the right place. You want to do something, but, man, I don't expect anybody to do something that's going to put them in a hard spot, you know?
So now they can grind it out. It's a free-to-play path.
This is exactly that. Tarpy, you can play a video game, and because of the warmth and generosity and amazingness of this community, your grind, your free-to-play grind, will be translated directly into cash for the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Nashville, Vanderbilt Medical, Nashville, Tennessee. Your grind will be translated into cash. For example, let's pretend for a moment, Griffin, that you did download this game and you decided to grind it out free to play all the way to level 70. Let me tell you what your contribution would be.
Free to play? Me? Okay, well, that's a stretch. I'm going to have to close my eyes for this one.
Okay, imagine if you will, all right? $5 for downloading the game. Then another $1 for hitting level 2. So now we're at 6. $2 for hitting level 5. Now you're at 8. Another $3 for hitting level 10. There's 11. $4, level 20. $15. Then up to 19 for level 30. Up to 23 for level 40. 30 for level 50. 42 for 60.
Wow.
$57 for level 70. Now, 57. Then, if you do your dailies every day for 5 days, you do your daily objectives for 5 days in a row, there's another $8. So you're at $65. That is your contribution. If you grind this thing out, you could be putting $65 into the Christmas Angel Fund just by playing a video game. Now, it doesn't stop there.
That is awesome. That is very fair and reasonable, and I can't believe that they're putting that much money into this promotion. They really want this game to succeed. But wait, there's more?
But wait, there's more. So let's pretend that you are Griffin. Let's pretend that you're Griffin, and you absolutely cannot go through this game without dropping a couple of dollars. All right? Not only will you get all the free-to-play progression that you can, but Griffin, if you decided to buy a pack in this game, they're going to double down on your donation to the Christmas Angel Fund. For example, spending $10 in the game, they will put $20 into the Christmas Angel Fund. So,
damn,
you
really?
spend $10 in the game, you get your in-game purchase, you get your in-game contents, but then they're going to put $20 into the Christmas Angel Fund.
Tell me they put no cap on that.
There is a cap. If you spend $15, they're going to put $30 in. And then if you buy a $20 or higher pack, they're going to put $40 into the Christmas Angel Fund.
Wow.
So that is capped out at 40 packs of each bracket. So like $10 between the $5 and $10, they'll cap it at 40. Between 11 and 15, they cap it at 40, and then $20 plus, they cap it at 40. But I mean, that's insane, right? You're going to buy a $20 pack, and they're going to put $40 into the Christmas Angel Fund. So even if you were going to play, and listen, I am not encouraging anybody to go in and spend some money, but a few people have. Look, we've had 8 people already spend $10 in the game. Right there's $160. Wow. There's $160 into the Christmas Angel Fund right there. We've had 3 people spend $15 on the game. They put $90 in. And we've had 2 people spend $20 on the game, and there's another $80 into the Christmas Angel Fund. For a grand total, Tarpy, as of this moment, $992 going into the Christmas Angel Fund because the community has been grinding out on this promotion that I was going to ignore in the first place, Griffin. Thank you to the community.
Way to go, Marvel Strike Force, for signing that contract, and way to go, community, for making that happen, and way to go, DJs, for forking all the money over. That's perfect.
Well, I wasn't going to do it anyway, and that was what the chat was saying. Listen, if you're not going to do it, and that was the thing. I had deleted the email. I wasn't going to take any of this money. So if they were like, hey, listen, why don't we do it as a fundraiser? And I thought, that's brilliant. 100%. Every dollar that comes in from this campaign, and that's why I promised complete and full transparency. Here it is, everybody. And by the way, I am going to point out that does include a $50 donation straight from me, because 70 of those dollars was or 50 of those dollars was a $50 reimbursement because I had to spend money in the game. that was one of the requirements. I had to spend between $10 and $50 in the game and be fully reimbursed, plus get a $20 bonus. So I did spend $50 in the game, and they have contributed $70 then back into the Christmas Angel Fund. So, and I don't even count as one of these down here because that's for you guys. So up here, I spent $50. They put in 70. Well, that means that that 70 is up here, and my $50 I put into the game, which basically goes into the Christmas Angel Fund as well. KA Knowledge says, is the QR code going to be posted in the sponsor links channel on Discord also for the Christmas Angel Fund? That actually probably is a good idea. Tarpy, we might work on that. If you'll send me a DM, I'll try to do that after the show. But yeah, that is the update on the Christmas Angel Fund right now, $992. And we've done that in 24 hours. Good job, guys. 24
Way to
hours.
go, everybody.
Yeah. Fantastic. Beautiful. So there are the updates that I have for you regarding the Christmas Angel Fund and regarding the the sponsorship that we've got. And then also just a quick plug for Studio B. Last night was amazing. Go over to Patreon. Check it out. The Patreon membership for $15 or more gets you complete full access to the shows. And Griffin, they earned a bonus stream tonight. So we're actually going to do another bonus Studio B later on tonight. So we got a quick one over here. Got a quick one over here. Got a quick one over here.
Have you told Mrs. Boss you're just going to quit your job? Can you put that QR code back? Because I want to install the game.
I can't actually
while you're blabbering
control that. Here's what I can do. Tarpy.
Look, Squirt Cobain 336 just installed the game. That's great.
Thank you, Squirt. Appreciate that. Thank you.
As for Cobain, we meet them in Miami.
I've got this. I can put the link up. There you go. How about that? Tarpy, can you pin that link? And there you go. You guys can click on that link.
Good.
And
there's the QR code right there.
Fantastic. Good. Glad you're seeing it. Beautiful. All right, so that is thanks to the good folks over at Marvel Strike Force. Do appreciate that, which is a Scopely product, but really do appreciate them offering the campaign and not balking at the idea of it going to charity. They were pretty happy about it.
What is up with Scopely continuing to offer you promotion, even for Star Trek Fleet Command? Why don't we just tell them, listen, I'll just stop spending money in the game for a month, and I'll give all that money to the Angel Fund and just cut out the middleman?
You could do that. Why don't you do it? Are you capable? Can you do that?
Too late. No, I probably could do that.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Come on. Who are we kidding?
I don't know. All right. Well, guys, welcome in. Appreciate you guys all being here. We've got a quick one to run through today. Today's going to be action-packed, information-filled. Back to basics is what we're calling it. Because, Tarpy, you and Strider actually noticed something on the last show, and I thought this was very, very curious, something that a lot of us take for granted. All right. A lot of people, even in this community right here, like this may not be your favorite podcast ever. Okay. It may not be. But Tarpy, you noticed something over the last week. And what was it?
That in the time that I've been here, you haven't really talked about how you know all of the things that you know when the game has been going through and trying to reinvigorate middle ops players and early ops players. So how do we learn how to crew if the main podcast for the game, who teaches once a week, isn't teaching?
That's not exactly how you pitched this to me. I mean, it's not that we don't teach.
I know.
Okay.
No, but listen. I'll double down on that. That's exactly right. And that's exactly why I got involved in creating content with DJs in September 2023, because that dirty cat keeps saying things and weird acronyms. Tell me if that sounds familiar, Tarpitude, and other abbreviations, and it just assumes that you know everything. And that's why I went back through the YouTube channel and reorganized and recatalogued everything. So at least you could find the very first time he did train on something. But that was in 2019, 2018.
It was a long time ago. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Forever ago.
That was
what a great idea, Tarpitude, to have another show about the basics of the combat mechanics. So I love it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She approached me with this later this week and said, "Listen, there's a lot going on. For example, when was the last time we talked about order of combat? These outposts have brought back a mechanic that I would imagine 30 to 40, maybe 50% of people don't even know exists, in which there is a scientific method for what ship gets hit first, second, third, fourth, on down the line. Not only that, but there is a scientific method for the math. There's a scientific method for the abilities that proc, okay? And it's not just here in these outposts. It's also in station combat, trying to raid a base, okay? It's also in armadas. Formation armadas, regular armadas, solo armadas. Okay? These all have an actual order, an actual mechanic to what fires when. So that's what we're going to break into tonight. And we are going to take questions from the audience, but we're going to throw a lot of information. Just an absolute ton of information because there's a lot of different forms of combat. So let's just go back to good old-fashioned plain one-on-one PvE combat. I go hit a red triangle. What happens? Anybody know? What actually happens if I go and I click attack against a red triangle? Anybody know?
Well, you attack the target. You open up a battle. Battle ensues.
Okay, yeah, but why? How? What happens? What order does the abilities go in? Who fires first? Lost In says, I win if I hit a red triangle. If you do it, you lose.
Well,
all right.
That's not wrong. But probably not the answer you're looking for.
I was like, I liked Fun Sucker's answer was lag.
Yeah.
Lag happens.
Yeah. The game breaks, says Dastros. Yeah. Popo says the ship rubber bands all over the system. All right.
That's the cube. He didn't say cube. He said ship.
You guys are killing me right now. This is actually super funny because all of these things are true. All right. However, let's talk about PvP versus PvE. If you're hitting in a PvE target, who fires first?
Oh, whoever hits the attack button first.
In PvE?
Han Solo.
Does the hostile ever come back and attack you? When does the hostile attack you first? Is that possible?
Never.
Never.
No.
So who fires first?
We do.
Han Solo.
Is that what you think? Do we fire first?
I think that we... Oh, no. We got that wrong?
See, here's the thing. Look at this. Oh, man. Okay, by the way, good point. When revenge hostiles attack, they do attack you first. But that is incorrect. Okay? In PvE...
What does your shirt say, by the way? Hold on. I have to document this for podcast prosperity. Are you wearing a Hold My Beer shirt?
Yeah. I bought one.
And wait, it's a moist... Oh, that is a beautiful shirt.
You didn't know you didn't know that this was up there? Yeah, we've got moist dongle.
I haven't seen one. I haven't seen a shirt in real life. He's holding a Hold My Beer shirt. It has moist dongle. Original purpose has been fulfilled, and they triple docs.
Triple docs, yeah.
That's
all right.
Just when I thought this was going to be a quality podcast that we could turn into a video presentation, I really want to thank you for dressing up for the show today.
Well, first of all, you can't see any of that on stream. Do you want me to turn off the overlays so you can actually make a video out of it? That's fine. I'll do that too.
Well, this isn't a compelling. We should start over with a quick intro and then we should get into this topic because this is fantastic.
Okay. Why did I just add a bonus stream? That's not right. Go back down to 9. Thank you very much. And I'll turn that off. And okay, cool. So we're going to turn off everything. Okay, great. Everything's off. All right. So, I mean, I thought the shirt was nice. You want me to change shirts? You want me to take my shirt off right here now? I'll take it off.
I'm being serious. I really appreciate you dressing up for the show and having our merchandise on the show. I'm just wearing a simple purple striped polo shirt.
All right. So you want to make this into a video content? Then here we go. Here's our intro. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into Teaching Trek. This video, action-packed, mechanics galore. The Outposts have brought back into reflection a lot of how the game works in combat. What ships are being targeted when, what abilities are proccing when, and how everything comes together. So buckle up, sit tight, leave your questions, comments down below, and we'll answer those after the video. But for now, let's get into STFC combat basics. Who fires first? So
this is a 7-year-old topic in a 7-year-old game, but it turns out that much of this knowledge has been forgotten or lost or simply taken advantage of because we forget. So what better time than now with this new Outpost mechanic to cover the new fun and exciting topic of how battle mechanics work. Not new, not fun, not exciting, but important for you to understand fully in order to take full advantage of the crews, the ships, the abilities that you have at your disposal, UltimatDJz.
A lot of what we're seeing with Outpost right now, guys, is calling back legacy crews. We saw that last night, and even Matters had a moment of aha last night when we were talking about crews. Matters, you and I were talking about Chang and his effectiveness in these new outposts. And then just as soon as we had thought about Chang, Denver came in the chat and said, DJ, it's one thing you forgot about, right? And then Matters was like, oh, yeah, that's right. We got this piece of this. So, yeah, this is coming back to, we're using Yuki again. We're using Khan again. We're using Gorkon again. And all of that brings back all of the nostalgia of how does this game actually work? Why are these officers good and today's officers are not? I'm going to credit a fellow content creator with an absolute ton of praise here today. Shout out QuirkyZombie. QuirkyZombie has put together an absolutely amazing website. I know that we've talked about this before. He's got the mitigation calculator, but we've also got this guide on STFC game mechanics, and there's a lot of stuff in here. We're actually going to be using this guide a great deal today. So if you're listening to the podcast and there is a piece that you don't understand, then you'll be able to come back here, including, take a look at this, Griffin, right here. Every single event that can proc inside a round of combat. You've got start round, hull repair start, hull repair end, start sub round, officer ability applied, officer ability applied, officer ability applied end, officer ability applied start, forbidden tech, start attack, end sub round, start sub round, burning, morale, hull breach. When does this stuff happen? I want you guys to observe that this entire series of commands happens every single round. All of these
and much
conditions,
of it before the first shot is fired.
A lot of it before the first shot is fired. Yeah, because you've got abilities that proc. Not only that, but what you don't see in this particular piece of code is which one of your ships goes first. Let's say we're doing an armada. Let's say we're doing a formation armada. Let's say we're doing an outpost. Let's say we're raiding a base. Let's say we're doing a solo armada with 3 of our own ships. Who goes first? So that's what we're going to focus on. I thought it was
the ship that pushed the attack button. Is that not where we're going with that?
How do you push attack if you're in an armada? Are you referring to starting the armada? Which ship hit the start armada? Is that what you think?
Ooh. I always thought that it was the ship with the least amount of power. Well, that's what's fired against. I don't know what goes first in the attack order of operation, DJ. There's a lot to learn and talk about here.
Yeah, that's not exactly accurate either. Dragon Keeper says explorers first, interceptor second, battleships third. Also incorrect. That is not correct either. Yikes! It seems as though perhaps our audience, even here today, does have something that they can take away from this podcast. So let's start with simple PvE combat. I press attack on a red hostile. Does that mean that I get to fire first?
Apparently, no.
The correct answer is no. Okay?
No.
All NPCs will always fire first, no matter what. That would be red triangles, yellow triangles, armadas. They always get the first go every single time, which, by the way, is kind of why Chang may potentially have some use as we come up here, because he's got a chance to proc basically before you ever fire a shot. All right. But there's also other officers that are really good. This is why we loved Khan in the very beginning, because he could grab a proc before we ever threw a shot. Okay? So if we have an officer who procs based on receiving damage, all right, what's another amazing officer? This is a newer one. An amazing officer that everybody goes bananas about on the lower deck. All right? What happens there? One of the officers that we absolutely love. That's right, Borg Hugh. Borg Hugh triggers a crit chance increase upon receiving damage. In PvE, that's key because we receive the damage first, and before our first ever shot goes off, we get a crit chance build. All right? So, in PvE combat, they always fire first. Okay? Absolutely beautiful. Now, let's go on. What about station combat? What about station combat? If I go and I attack Griffin's station, what happens? Who goes first? Do I go first because I'm the attacker?
No.
Nope. That's right. Weapons of the defense platforms go first. They basically act as the NPC in that particular case. Now, if I've got ships in dock, if Griffin has ships in dock, say 8 ships all in dock, 6 defense platforms, right? And I go and attack him. the order of combat would be defense platforms first, 1 through 6. Then I get to fire, then his ships fire back. This is how it's possible for you to die in station combat before you've ever had an opportunity to fire a shot. Okay? That's why that's possible. Now, the chat is pointing out a lot of research and mechanics. Berlin says it depends on research and crews, technically, and that's correct. But we're talking mechanics today, Berlin. We're talking mechanics. Now, there are modifiers to those mechanics. For example, if you have shot delay, there's a prime research for that, where you can actually delay the defense platform weapons by 1, maybe even 2 rounds. Okay?
Ooh, this is what ROM does and what NOG does.
Absolutely. Okay? So delay shots is a mechanic, but we're, again, and let me rephrase. Let me be very, very clear. I'm not talking about modifiers. Okay? I am talking about the actual structure of the game. For example, a modifier is not necessary, Paulo, if the station defense platforms didn't fire first. Okay? So we're talking about actual core order of operations. Modifiers come afterwards. All right? But we're talking about how the game functions with 0 modifiers, the baseline, if you will. So yes, delay shots is, I'm not going to call it a mechanic. I'm going to call it a modifier, because you're changing how the game functions from its standard default. Okay? Now, this is another one. This is one of the reasons that Carol Freeman was so foobar from the very beginning. Let's say I go up against Lost In PvP. I'm going to go up against Lost In PvP. I press attack, I fly to his ship, and I engage him in combat. Who fires first?
You, because you hit the attack button. You get to go first.
That's correct. Yeah, I actually, if I'm the one who attacks, then I get to fire. Now, the reason that Carol Freeman, for example, was so foobarred in the very beginning, and you always heard people talking about who hit the attack button last, because pressing attack meant that you were the attacker. So if I pressed attack against Lost In, he sees me coming in, and he presses attack after me, he becomes the attacker.
Wow.
He was the last person to press the attack button. He becomes the primary attacker. The order of operations matters in this game. If I press attack and he presses attack second, he was the last one to press it. The last command sent to the server is, he is the attacker. Okay?
Especially when these battles were lasting 1 round. Then,
matters.
I mean, critically important.
Absolutely, it matters. Okay? So, Ristrusi says, no, my advantage is over. But that's it. Okay? So, yeah, whoever presses the attack button first may not necessarily be the attacker if somebody else attacks you. Now, in that particular case, Andy, you don't have to cancel. All right? You just have to attack again. But the thing is, you don't know when the other player presses attack. Dragon Keeper says that's why you attack cloaked. That's fine. Asta says that doesn't sound right. Crazy enough, man, it is. That's how foobar this code is. All right. If I press attack against Lost In and then Lost In presses attack against me, he's the attacker. Now, if I somehow, by a miracle, happen to press attack a second time after Lost In pressed attack against me, now it flip-flops and I become the attacker.
So you can go back, forth, attack, until the server finally says, okay, the battle started.
That's exactly right. Asta says, so we just need to mash attack during PvP. If you want to fire first, yeah, pretty much. Spam the attack button. You're exactly right. And there's still a 50-50 shot that you're not going to actually be the attacker, because maybe they pressed the attack button after you did. This is why you don't
It's
attack.
like eBay.
Yeah, this is why you don't attack from way across the system. You want to sneak up on the node and press attack when you're right next to them. If you're, but now again, if you're active in PvP, in arenas and incursions, that's not always necessarily an easy thing to do. All right. But Dragon Keeper is right. You can tell if they press attack against you because their ship is going to start to glow red. All right. So you'll know if they're coming for you. All right. But combat order of operations actually matters. Let's transition. We talked about station combat. All right. And I'm going to come back to ship types here in a second, but let's talk about order of combat operations in an armada. Let's go with a group armada first. An armada, a good old-fashioned day one, coming soon armada that you used to run with your alliance. I say used to. A lot of people, I'm sure, still do. I'm sure a lot of people still do. Okay. Let's say that your armada control center holds 5 players. Okay, including you as the starter. Let's start with you. You start the armada, Griffin. 4 people join you. Who fires first?
Oh, no. Is it the last person to join the armada?
Nope. That is incorrect.
Oh.
Who fires first? Griffin starts. 4 of his alliance mates join. Who fires first? Mosher says the armada. Mosher says the armada fires
person with
first.
the biggest ship.
Well,
No, the person is right. The person is the Armada.
Technically, Kalamandori has it correct. The armada fires first. The armada fires first. Good job. That was a trick question. Well done. All right. The armada fires first because because the armada's PvE. So the armada fires first. Okay. Now, out of the 5 players, who fires first? Murphy says the starter.
I agree with Tarpitude, the ship with the highest power.
Well, that would be incorrect.
10 points for Murphy.
It will be the starter.
Do I even know how to play this game?
This is why
Apparently
we're doing this. Tarpy, listen, this is exactly why we're doing this. Tarpy said this is going to be a brilliant segment. And we might even have to break it up over a series. This might be a back-to-basics series that we might not be able to have the opportunity to finish in one show. The starter, okay? Always the starter. And by the way, we're not going to get into bugs of the game here today, all right? Because I saw somebody mention the Spock down bug. Spock down bug is very, very, very important for the starter. All right, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. That's deep, okay? That's deep. However, the starter goes first. And the reason that matters is procs, abilities, states. We're going to talk about this here in a minute. All right, so starter goes first. Who goes second? Oh, my God, there's 4 players left. How do we know who goes second? Who goes second?
Person whose name comes second in the alphabet.
No, that would be incorrect. Who comes
The ship
second?
with the other most highest power.
No, sorry. Cannot accept. Isaac says survey ships. Hey, good guess, but no.
It depends on how you starred people.
Wait, what's a star?
It's this like pointy thing with like stuff.
Thank you, Mosher. It is going to be the ship that is starred with the highest power. So when you join in an armada, the leader has the opportunity to star people in. That star guarantees you a spot. That means you cannot be bumped out. That means if somebody with a higher power comes in, then you are locked into that armada. If you have a star and you're the only one that has a star, and by the way, there is strategy for that. There is strategy in who you give stars to, all right? But if you have a star and you're the only one, then you fire next after the starter, no matter what. You could be the biggest player, smallest player, doesn't matter. You could have a tiny baby ship. It could be an NX-01 or it could be a Tribune. But if you have the only star in the armada, you fire next. What if 2 people have the star? What if 2 people have the star?
Bigger ship.
Then it's the one with the most power.
Finally, we got Griffin right here. Good job. Yay.
Go us, Griffin. Go us.
Hey, a blind nut's going to find... shoot. A blind squirrel's going to find a nut
Even
down
a
there.
blind squirrel's going to find a nut eventually.
Bless it. All right.
He's trying to steal my own line and use it against me.
I was going to figure it out. There you go. Okay. By the way, just here for bonus points. Before combat, can you determine who has the highest power? This is a trick question. Before combat begins, I hand out 2 stars. Can I actually 100% definitively know who has the highest power?
No, because some abilities that proc during combat will affect your power.
Yes! He got it again, everybody!
Okay, so here's a new one. What does the word proc mean?
Activate. I don't actually know what proc. I think is it. It's not proctor. What does it actually stand for? Proc. To activate. To activate is what it is. I don't know what the actual word proc means.
We'll have to ask our friends at Wizards of the Coast who started using it in 1992 for Magic the Gathering Alpha.
Procedure. Process. Okay, there you go. Proc. To activate.
So
okay.
This is why I really wanted to ask about this, because there is so much jargon that's just layered in here.
Beautiful. Love it.
That you don't necessarily, like, what does it mean to proc? Or what does it mean to see that someone has proc? Because if you don't know what that means, especially if your first language isn't necessarily English, and maybe if that doesn't get translated to your language well,
sure.
What does that even mean?
The word proc, all right, for the intents of almost any video game out there, proc means to activate. Okay? Proc means to activate. So Schwag says proc is a term most commonly used in gaming that means to trigger a special event or ability. He says with a random chance. It doesn't always have to be a random chance. It can stand for programmed random occurrence or procedure and is used as both a verb and a noun. Okay? A proc or to proc. All right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be random. All right? But it does mean a trigger. For the purposes of Star Trek Fleet Command, it is a trigger. All right? So when we're talking about 2 ships that both have a star, who is going to get to proc first? Well, that is going to be the player who ultimately has the most power. But that's not something that you can 100% know before combat, because research can boost power in active combat. So let's say, for example, that I have a Tribune and an NX-01. Both of them are starred. Can I assume as to who's going to have the higher power? Probably, right?
Yes.
Probably. Spock says not necessarily, but I feel like you probably can. Let's assume, okay, let's use a more dramatic example, Spock. Let's use a Tribune and a Discovery. Can we assume who's going to have the most power? Sure. Okay? Sure, we can assume. It doesn't necessarily, to Spock's point, mean that it's going to be accurate, but we can try to assume. Here's where it gets tricky. Let's say Lost In and Griffin each show up to the same armada, both with maxed vengeances. Who's going to have more power in combat? The correct answer is Lost In, because he uses fleet commanders.
Oh. Oh.
All right. All right. Fleet commanders are buffs. They're going to enhance power in combat. That's right. Shiz says the one with better research, better fleet commanders, better artifacts, better below decks, better stats, all the way across the board. All right. But there's no way to know. You can't scan a ship and find out. So stars are very, very, very important when handing them out. They used to be used as a mechanic for just locking in players. But for more advanced alliances, they can actually be used to determine the order in which officers proc against a target. And that can be very important, which we're going to talk about coming up here in a little bit. That can be extremely important. Maybe, for example, I need, as a starter, I may need to proc a state on the target. And if I was, again, in a perfect scientific world, and we have all 1,000 times concluded and proven that most of our alliances are incapable of a large level of coordination and or cohesion. As a matter of fact, we talk all the time about, well, I just can't get my alliance to process what I'm teaching them. I can't get my alliance to coordinate the right way. But let me tell you, there is a, quote, right way to do armadas. And I can tell you right here and now that I would be willing to bet that approximately 0.0% of alliances do them the mechanically correct way.
Ooh.
0.0?
You tell.
Yeah, I think 0.0. Today, nobody does armadas the correct way because they don't need to. They either solo them or they loot them or whatever. Nobody is maximizing their attack benefit against an armada today. Just nobody is. All right? See, look, Irish says the correct way is to loot crew it. All right? Cruzito says raw power works just fine. That's my point. All right? Balabom says send a vengeance, beat armada. The end. There you go. There's no need for this
raw
mechanic.
Power,
Take all the loot.
well, raw power didn't always work. So, like, think back to card modos when those first came out, and then think back to Zindi modos when those first came out.
Yep.
I watched some pretty big ships get their behinds handed to them.
Go back to the
because they didn't
Mega
crew
Cube.
well.
Go back to the Mega Cube 6 years ago. The Mega Cube was an amazing armada target. It might have been one of the most creative armada targets in the entire game. Still to this day, it might be one of the best. All right? It was a fantastic armada target. It was coded extremely well. So, and for those of you who don't remember that, it's still in the game. It's down near the Borg systems, the big old cube that was 100,000 light years squared or cubed or whatever, and it's still in space, and nobody ever does them. Okay? Nobody ever does them. All right? So there are a lot of targets that used to exist in the game that players don't need to know about today, hence another reason for our teaching today. Maybe you don't need to run a group armada this way, but it's important for you to know how it works so that when, and not if, but when a new target presents that is too powerful for the players that exist in the game here and now today, you will have the best chance because you understand how they work. So, in an armada, starter goes first. Then, amongst the starred players, it goes in order of power, of which you are kind of guessing because you can't scan for it. And then, your third process there is unstarred players, also in order of power. That is a group armada. Interesting question. Let's change gears since we're talking about armadas. Let's take 3 of our own ships against a solo armada. Which ship fires first? Griffin, this one's for you.
Mine. It's all mine.
All mine? I've got 3 ships in a solo armada. Which one fires first?
Got to be the one with the most power.
That is actually correct. Good job.
Yay, I'm 3 for 3. According to the editing of this video, I'm perfect.
There you go. Good guess, Griffin.
Well
Good
done,
guess.
Griffin.
There you go. It is in order. It's your strongest ship. Now, funny enough, even you don't know what your strongest ship is. Let's just throw that out there.
Right.
Even you can't scan, can't look at the numbers, can't know which one is going to proc with the most or least abilities. All right, but again, you can generally guess. All right, it won't always be accurate. Okay? Unless, Danny says, you have a modifier like the Vindicator. Okay, and actually the Vindicator doesn't work on attack, Danny. The Vindicator is a tank. Its modifier is making that armada hit the Vindicator, not necessarily the Vindicator shooting first outbound. So if I do a solo armada with the Vindicator, that armada is still going to hit me first, okay? Still going to hit me first, but I can now control the ship that it hits. Okay? That's a really interesting question that Danny brings up, though. Let's say that I am in either a group armada or a solo armada. Which ship does the Armada hit first? Does the Armada follow the battle triangle? Can we determine without a shadow of a doubt, minus the Vindicator, can we determine without a shadow of a doubt which ship the Armada is going to hit first?
Yes.
Really?
Ooh.
By following the triangle, right?
No.
What triangle?
Armadas don't have a triangle.
Armadas are not in the triangle. That's
Armadas don't have a triangle. As a matter of fact, there are there's 4 types of target in this game. And I'm trying to actually find it here if I can on this screen. There's 4 types of ship type. Actually, there's 5 technically. And I don't see it right off. But here we go. You've got Interceptor. You got Explorer. You got Battleship. All 3 of those function in a triangle. Interceptor has an advantage over Battleship. Battleship has an advantage over Explorer. Explorer has an advantage over Interceptor. That's called the battle triangle. But then you also have Surveyors. They're flat. And you have Armadas. They're also flat. Okay? So, does an Armada choose its target based on triangle? No, because there is no triangle. The correct answer is, for an Armada, is what Skippy says up top. Some random RNG. That's right. If there's no ship triangle, there's no stars, nothing like that. It doesn't go based on power. It just picks one. It's not the weakest, not in an Armada, Dragon Keeper. Just picks one. Okay? RNG. That's how it hits us. But we can control how we're going to hit. Let's go back to the previous question. In a solo Armada, I've got 3 ships. Which one goes first? It is going to be my most powerful ship. Can I star my own ships? No.
Nope.
Okay. Kaviji, you ask a brilliant question. So what's up with the Outpost exclusively hitting my weakest ship? Oh, love that question. Because the Outpost is not an Armada. Remember?
Yep.
The Outpost is not an Armada. It is coded kind of like an anti-station. Now, Lord of Scarin, we're not talking about the Outpost, or we're not talking about the retaliation targets. We're actually talking about the Outpost itself. Okay? By the way, the retaliation targets are coded completely differently. They follow triangle. But the Outpost itself is not an Armada. It's actually the complete opposite of a station, which is very interesting. Let's come back. And I know we're jumping all over the place here, but there's so many mechanics. Let's come back to station combat. We already determined that if I attack a station, the defense platforms fire, then me as the attacker fires, and then any defending ships in dock will fire. What order do they go in? Well, obviously, the defense platforms are going to hit my only ship. I'm the attacker. Defense platforms are all going to target my only ship. But then when I go and I fire back, what do I hit? I'm a ship attacking a base. What do I hit first? The first in the order of operations is going to be a ship. And which ship? It's going to be the ship that I have triangle advantage over. And which of those, if there's more than one? The weakest one. Okay? It is the weakest one, right? Yes, weakest one. Whew. No, it's the strongest one.
Yeah.
It's the strongest
weakest
one. It's not weakest. See, it's backwards. It's backwards. Okay? It's going to hit a ship within the triangle with the triangle advantage, and it's going to hit the strongest. Like I just said, the Outpost is hitting the weakest. It's the opposite of station combat. You have to take out the big one. You got to take out the big mama before you can take out anything else.
No, it's the weakest. It's the same as when you get attacked by the retaliation hostiles. If you get attacked by something, sometimes all that dies is your discovery, even if, like, when you've stronger explorers there.
It is the weakest. See, I'm getting confused myself. See, proof positive. Listen, now that's my first one that I've missed. You can edit that out too, Griffin.
Okay.
All right.
Please don't.
But it is triangle. So let's pretend that I've got my Crenshaw, an interceptor. Okay? Let's pretend I've got Crenshaw, my interceptor. And let's say that Griffin has a Tribune, a Bortus, and what is the a Scimitar? All three battleships. And then he's also got a Crenshaw. Okay? So, what attacks first? What ship do I hit first, rather? 3 battleships and a Crenshaw he's got in dock. Which one do I hit first? Matters.
The Bortus, the weakest one.
The weakest
battleship. They're all battleships.
That's right. I hit the weakest battleship first. What would be the second ship after I kill the Bortus? What's the second one I hit? The next weakest battleship. When will the Crenshaw take a shot?
After all the battleships are dead.
After all the battleships are dead. Okay. Do their cubes get hit? Yeah, cubes are a battleship. All right, so cubes fall into battleship targeting.
That was part of a different conversation.
Okay.
My cube question.
What was the cube question? I'm trying to watch chat.
It was, I know. So it's people are thinking there's also a grade or generation order that ships might be getting hit in. But
power. And I'm going to tell you why it is not generation, guys. It is indeed power. For the same reason that you have issues with determining armada strength. There is a ton of research that procs in battle, not only just in battle, but also in PvP, but also in station defense, and for specific grades of ship. Shiv says, my big ship is 7 billion versus a 6 billion on a second. Here to tell you, it's probably not the way in actual combat. You got to remember, there's a lot of G4 combat research. There's G5, there's G6. All right, so there is a lot more. I would imagine that you have a lot more G4 and G5 research than you do G6 research. Okay? So it will, again, no way to really know prior to combat as to what actually is going to get hit before you go in. But it is going to be the weakest. Okay? Carissa says there are outposts with a 7 billion relativity getting targeted before a 4 billion Enterprise D. You know, good point. Why do you think that might be, Carissa? The Enterprise D probably has boatloads of more research done. The relativity has literally no research at all. None. All right? You got faction research. You've got G4, G5 research, G4 plus research. I'm here to tell you that 4 billion Enterprise is not 4 billion in actual combat, which leads me to the one small piece of editorial. Scopely, give us some actual freaking logs, please. Can I get some real actual logs, maybe a real actual description of power in this game? Is it possible for me to see that at any time, anywhere, ever in the history of the game? Maybe, possibly. Okay. Your combat mechanics are so confusing the players don't understand how they work. Okay. That being said, that is why that happens. It's in order of ship power with buffs applied. Here's another, Carissa, another point that I'll point out to you. Let's pretend, and I don't know, all right, but let's pretend that Enterprise D had morale, right? The relativity probably doesn't have morale. Well, what does morale do? This is a state. We're going to get into the states here in a moment. But that morale could also proc abilities from artifacts, chaos tech, isolated damage, extra research, fleet commanders. Okay? I guarantee we probably weren't running morale on a relativity, but morale is massive in this game for the purposes of our own buffs. Now, people look at the states and they say, what do the states do? The states are usually a modifier that we put on our target, all except for morale. Morale is the only modifier we can put on ourselves. To a benefit, that is. We can't actually apply hull breach to ourselves, but you wouldn't necessarily want to do that. All right? But you can apply morale to yourself. Silvertap says, should we run morale on relativity if our other ship is not an explorer? It can't hurt. I mean, honestly, if relativity is your only explorer, then yeah, run morale. Well, maybe, Silvertap, because you are going to get more. You are going to get more isolated damage from your artifacts and fleet commanders, but you might want morale on your biggest ship. Why? It might not even be an explorer, but it might be the one that punches so hard, because morale will also, as a result of fleet commanders, give you extra critical chance and damage. It also gets you extra mitigation from the Starpath research tree. It gives you shield repair from Starpath. So it's not necessarily only belonging on an explorer. I run morale on my biggest ship always because it's going to increase my firepower. All right? So not necessarily the relativity, but that's probably why the Explorer or the Enterprise D in Carissa's example, I mean, dude, look at shield regen. Look at critical chance, critical damage, extra mitigation, extra hull health, shield repair, all this stuff. Yeah, I guarantee that Enterprise D is bigger than the relativity when you go into combat. All right? Mm-hmm. So there you go. When I'm attacking a station, it goes by triangle advantage, weakest ship first. Then, what goes next? Flat triangle. So let's go back to the scenario. I'm attacking Griffin's base, okay? I'm attacking Griffin's base. He's got surveyors, he's got an Enterprise, he's got a Crenshaw, and he's got a Borg Cube. 4 ships, okay? Borg Cube, Enterprise, Crenshaw, Miner. Those are the 4 ships he's got in dock. I attack him with a Crenshaw. Matters, I'm going to take out the Borg Cube first. Then I'm going to go triangle flat. So that would be Crenshaw second.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to go triangle disadvantage. That would be the Explorer.
Yeah.
Then I go after flat targets, the surveyors.
Yeah.
So let's pretend. Let's change the scenario. I've got a Borg Cube and a Scimitar. Both battleships. I've got a Crenshaw and a Saladin. Both interceptors. I've got an Enterprise D and a Discovery. Both explorers. And then I've got 2 miners. An Envoy and a Selkie. I know I just threw out 8 ships, so bear with me. I attack with an interceptor. What goes first? The baby battleship, then the big battleship, then the baby interceptor, then the big interceptor, then the baby explorer, then the big explorer, then the baby survey, then the big survey. Spock asked a brilliant question. What if you attack with a survey? Oh, I love you challenging me, Spock. I actually don't know.
That's a good tactic. No, you don't know? That's how you take out their surveyors first.
It's the survey first, right? It goes, because again, you're using triangle first, The triangle for a surveyor is flat, so it's going to take survey first. But after that, where does it go in the triangle? That's actually a good question. I don't know. You take surveys first, then what? What does it hit next?
Strongest, or like weakest to strongest.
That's right, because there's no triangle. Yeah. So no triangle. It'll do surveys first, and then it'll go weakest all the way to strongest with no regard to triangle. Recall the North Star. Okay? There you go. And by the way, the North Star was a kick-ass war miner. It was a great base raider. All right? So good question, Spock. Halo says, what do you mean by flat and disadvantage? Okay, perfect. Thank you for the question. Triangle advantage is an interceptor fighting a battleship, right? And a battleship fighting an explorer, and an explorer fighting an interceptor. That's the triangle advantage. An interceptor has a battle advantage over a battleship. The disadvantage is what the battleship has against an interceptor, right? Because the battleship has advantage over an explorer. It has the disadvantage against an interceptor. An interceptor has advantage over a battleship. It has disadvantage to an explorer. And then flat is hitting the same ship type. It means you don't have an advantage or disadvantage. So if I attack you in PvP, if I'm in an interceptor and I fight you in an interceptor, neither one of us have a triangle advantage. What do I mean by triangle advantage? Here's a great question, Tarpy. What do I mean by triangle advantage? Well, that would be the mitigation formula.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Here we go. I've been waiting for the mitigation formula.
The mitigation
grab your popcorn,
formula.
everybody.
Mitigation formula. Okay? This
QuirkyZombie.
Shout out QuirkyZombie. And Ripper, who solved this formula 7 years ago. This formula is insane.
This is the why. Why does a battleship have an advantage over a explorer? Why does a interceptor have a disadvantage over an explorer? Here's your why.
Here's the why. Now, here's the deal. Cruzito said, does it actually really matter in today's game economy? No, it doesn't actually. Actually, Riskbreaker has that. It doesn't super matter, but it does. Okay? It's not a huge factor anymore, but it is still a factor.
It is now because of the Outpost.
Outpost, not necessarily PvP. All right. Warlock says, DJ, do faction advantages fit into PvP? Do faction advantages? Yeah, because of modifiers. But from the mechanics of the game itself, core mechanics, no. Romulan does not have a native advantage over any other faction. They have modifiers that do that, yes. But the only native advantage in this game is actually the battle triangle. Would you believe that? That this entire game and all of its combat and all of its buffs everywhere, if you strip all of that away, it comes down to the battle triangle. This is the only core code stack in this game. Faction has nothing to do with it. Grade really has nothing to do with it. Believe it or not. Grade, hear me, grade has nothing to do with it. Enter the sarcophagus. Enter the North Star. Grade has absolutely nothing to do with it. What has everything to do with it is firing pattern, DPR, and statistics, which is mitigation, the mitigation formula. The mitigation formula takes statistics and determines your statistics being your attack, your health, your defense, okay? Your armor piercing, shield piercing, and accuracy. Those are piercing statistics. They get matched up against defensive mitigation statistics, which is shield, hull, and dodge. And those determine how much damage you take. So, Retrieving says, do we go to the deepest next level to explain how the battle triangle actually works? Sure. I'm not going to go super deep into the weeds, but sure, I'll give it to you. Retrieving is exactly right. Why the triangle matters is because ships have a native statistic boost. I'm going to pull up an interceptor. My interceptor has a native advantage over battleships. That means I've got extra armor piercing. Because a battleship has extra armor. That's its defensive mechanism. So if you look at the statistics of almost any interceptor in the game, under your piercing, and I'll put this in the graphics room, you're going to see extra armor piercing. So in the example of my Crenshaw, I've got accuracy at 28.2 million, shield piercing of 28.2 million, but armor piercing of 370 million. That's my advantage over a battleship. If I look at the battleship, I'm going to come down to my defensive stats, and I'm going to see exactly what we just predicted. I'm going to see meh on dodge, meh on shield deflection, and massive amounts of armor. That is the battle triangle. The armor piercing overcomes the armor, right? Let's take a look at the same thing from the same battleship, but for attack stats. Battleships have an advantage over explorers, right? So if I was pointing out the fact that I've got 11.5 million armor pierce, 11.5 million accuracy, but 135 million shield piercing, what would you say that the primary defense of an explorer is? Well, it's going to be shield, right? Let's test our theory. Here's an explorer that's showing 1.95 million armor, 1.95 million dodge, and 40 million shield. Enter.
There you go.
The triangle advantage. Okay? So, this is how combat fundamentally works. Now, PvP in today's game, isolytic, statistics do matter, but isolytic and shot and DPR matter more. Okay? They really do. This is not a huge deal in PvP today. It's a massive deal, where Matters just pointed out. It's a massive deal in PvE with targets that are overpowered for our level. Like when a new target comes out, okay, let's go back to the Breen. When the Vengeance first came out and the Breen came out, Griffin, you were having to study crew. You had to look for damage. You had to look at mitigation. Matters, last night, we're talking about surviving 72 hostiles against a massive target with billions of statistics. You went back to Martok, Galron, and Bael. Why?
Because of the mitigation formula.
Because of mitigation. We had to get rid of some of that damage. We had to focus on defense instead of offense. Defense wins championships, everybody. General Chaos says, who doesn't know this by now? You know what? Both myself and Griffin have both missed questions today. So has literally
we have
everybody
forgotten
else.
More than we remembered in some cases.
And not only that,
and
Chaos, but this is stuff we studied 5, 6, and 7 years ago. Players who have come into the game have never heard a content creator talk about the mitigation formula, at least not in detail. All right? Because
it's not been relevant recently up until just this month or a couple of months ago. And now we're getting back into it going, oh, how did that go again? And here we are today.
Absolutely. All right. Q's Trials was another time that was a little bit relevant for a few minutes. All right. So Chaos, there's a lot of stuff here that a lot of people may not realize. And that's why I said at the beginning of the show, this may not be a show for our most educated veterans. That's okay. All right. It's a refresher for us. Or you don't have to listen. But it is going to help newer players understand why we're talking about what ship goes first. All right. So we just talked about Battle Triangle and ships, and this is going to lead us into Outpost here in just a moment. But the reason that I like to talk about the procking and the order of combat is because we're going to talk about buffs here in just a moment. So let's wrap up with order of combat matters. The last one here is the brand new Outpost. Now, Outpost is a two-pronged attack. First of all, we've got the actual Outpost itself. The Outpost itself.
I do have a battle log up for that if you need it, by the way. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No problem. We're going to come to that.
Outpost battle log ready if you need to flip over to it.
Yep, we'll come to that here in just a second. Right here on the screen, you can actually see the actual battle triangle that we're talking about here. And funny enough, there is one form of target that we completely forgot about, guys, and that would be Alliance star bases.
What's a star base? What's an assault?
It's also flat. They're
Did
treated
we
like
forget or conveniently block it?
wrote it off. All right. But yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Star bases are flat. Defense platforms are flat. All right. There's no triangle advantage. All right. Now, flipping over to what Griffin has over here in his battle log. All right. This is against an Outpost. Outposts are flat like an Armada target, but they're not coded like an Armada exactly. All right. But we've got these are going to be very much like a solo Armada, if you will. Go back one screen, Griffin. This is like a solo Armada. We're going to take 3 ships and we are going to engage the target. Now, if we look at this, we can see that he's got a big old nasty Vengeance, followed by a big old nasty Cube, followed by a less nasty Enterprise E. Hit the back button right there, Griffin, and let's grab this screenshot where we can see proof positive that it behaves the same as a solo Armada. It goes in order of power. There is no triangle. There is no advantage. It goes in order of power. Number 1 ship being at the very top. Number 2 ship being the Borg Cube. Number 3 ship being the Enterprise E. Okay? So, in order of combat, the way it targets us the same way as a solo Armada. Order of power. Now, let's take a look inside the battle log. Who fired first?
It doesn't.
Wait. It does not
target us in order of fire. In order of power, it's totally random.
Totally random.
Let me rephrase. I might have misspoken. I didn't mean with the way it targets us. I mean our order of procs, and I did misstate that. Yeah. Our order of procs are going to be in order of power. My apologies. Yeah, the way it hits us is going to be like, that's what I meant to say, like a solo Armada. It is random. Okay? The order of procs is what goes in order of power. So thank you for the correction. When we come into the battle log, we see, just like any other Armada, any other solo Armada, that the target fires against Griffin first. Then we get to fire in order of proc, which is in order of ship power. Okay? We don't determine how that target hits us, but we can determine the order in which we hit the target, and therefore the order of procs. Okay? Now, Shiz says, if we can use the order of procs, then can't we use that to tell the largest ship? Yeah, sure you can. After the battle's over. All right? You can always see it after the battle's over, but you don't ever get to see it before the battle. All right? Now, if we're looking at the order of procs, and we've now covered all the targets, we know the order of operations for everything when it comes to ships engaging targets. The reason that outposts are trickier is not because of the outpost itself. It's what comes after the outpost, which is what?
The revenge hostile.
Retaliation targets. They come after, and they come with all 3 ship types of the triangle. So, right here, don't change your screen at all, Griffin. I'm going to screenshot this, and I don't want you to move. Don't move a muscle. Right here is a revenge hostile. This revenge hostile flies in as an explorer. Griffin has in his outpost 1 interceptor, 1 battleship, 1 explorer. 1 of each ship type. So, quick pop quiz question. Does power matter?
No.
Correct. Okay, power doesn't matter in this particular case because there's only 1 of each type. So the Revenge Hostile is going to go with its triangle advantage. Warlock, hang on. All right. I'm using this as an example. We're going to get to your example in just a moment. 1 Explorer, 1 Interceptor, 1 Battleship. The Explorer is the target. The retaliation target is an Explorer. So it's going to hit with the triangle advantage. What does it hit? It'll hit the Interceptor.
Well,
right? Let's take a look in the battle log. It fires first because it's a PvE target, and indeed, it hits the Vengeance first. Now, Balabomb says, what if he used 3 Aphelions? We answered this question earlier. Then it goes in power, okay? But in this particular use case, it's going to go with the triangle. Now, Warlock, circling back around to your particular question. What if I've got 2 battleships and an interceptor? 2 battleships and an interceptor. Go back 1 screen, Griffin, please. 2 battleships and an interceptor. The retaliation target is an explorer. What's it going to hit first?
The interceptor.
It is going to hit the interceptor still because it's going to use the triangle. All right. What if we had 2 battleships and an explorer as our 3 ships, but the retaliation target was an interceptor? Now remember, I've got 2 battleships and an explorer. Let's say the retaliation target comes in and it's an interceptor. What's it going to hit now? I've got 2 battleships.
Well, it'd be the weaker of the 2 battleships.
The weaker of the 2 battleships. Correct. That is right. Okay.
So can I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
So Griffin, could you open that battle log again?
Mm-hmm. Boom. Open
So-
the battle log.
How can you tell that? So there's a bunch of green stuff on the left side and a bunch of red stuff on the right side. So it looks like your stuff all happened first. So how can you say that the hostile or the revenge attacker hit you first?
All right. Let's look at a battle log very closely. All right. And I like what you did there because that's not a real question. That's the next topic of our
It's
teaching.
not. Mhm.
All right. So we're going to talk about reading a battle log here in just a moment, but let me finish up with this triangle piece. All right. So if you had 2 battleships, an explorer, the revenge target was an interceptor, it's going to hit the weaker of the 2 battleships. Then it's going to hit the stronger of the 2 battleships. Then it'll finally take the explorer. The interesting thing about the outpost is these revenge targets are all varying. So what they hit when they come in and fight you is going to vary depend on the target that actually comes at you. All right? So that is a very, very key important thing. All right? Now, let's go into this battle log and take a look at the order of operations. Tarpy points out there's a bunch of stuff at the top on our side, followed by a bunch of stuff that's red from the target side. The difference is the battle log will show, when they're working, will show procs. Those things that you see at the very beginning of battle are your procs. Those are your abilities that are activating pre-combat. When I say pre-combat, we're talking about buffs that might have specific verbiage that you might be familiar with. For example, at the start of combat, if so-and-so and so-and-so, then boost damage by so-and-so and so-and-so. All right? Or at the start of each round, if so-and-so and so-and-so, then so-and-so and so-and-so. Okay? So we're talking about stuff that happens in an order of operations, and that's why I brought you back to QuirkyZombie's website when we talk about all that crazy stuff as far as what happens in a particular battle. all of these abilities, all of these conditions check, and that's what shows up. That's what shows up in this battle log. But then, like we established earlier, the PvE target is always going to fire first. The PvE target will always fire first. So that's why we took shots first, and then we start throwing shots back. Okay? So there is on the screen, for those of you in podcast, what we're looking at is a battle log where we see procs first. That's your green. Then you see red. Those are shots that you're taking. And then you see more green shots that you're giving. And by the way,
please note the fun arrows going to the left and to the right.
And that will continue to happen for the duration of the firing pattern. Then you get to the end of the round. The end of the round also has checks. One of the most notable ones is burning. Burning requires you to survive before it procs. So it is one of the last checks that is done at the end of combat. If you have survived everything, then apply a 1% hull burn to your target. Then you move to the next round. All right?
Okay.
So look,
at some point,
hang on one sec.
Look at the...
one sec, please.
Sorry.
Griffin, scroll up just a little bit to take a look at the procs of the end of round one. Okay? These are all the procs that are happening at the end of the round that will carry us forward into the next round. Then we go to round two, where we start the process all over again. At the start of each round, so-and-so and so-and-so will do so-and-so and so-and-so. Okay? And we're going to talk about some of these conditional procs here in just a moment. Tarpy, go ahead with your question.
I was going to just ask if you would compare this to the STFC.space thing for the vengeance and showing the firing pattern per round.
Okay.
Because that, I think, is also something that people will appreciate. So wherever that fits into what you were going to talk about.
Well, all right. STFC.space. So firing pattern. Let me get over there. All right, here we go. Firing pattern. This is what determines how many shots fire when. Okay? In combat, you're going to alternate volleys, just like you would in real combat. There's volleys back and forth. It's one of the reasons that the Borg Cube is so popular, is because of its firing pattern. All right? For example, if we look here, this is the Vengeance. It has 4 weapons, but one of them fires at the beginning of combat. That's the first one that we just saw. It's going to fire 4 shots. Okay? Griffin, go back to your battle log. We're gonna line this out. At the very beginning, go all the way to round 1. Your first weapon fire that you throw off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh wait, that's the cube. 10. Why does he have 10 shots? Interesting question. Modifiers, shot boost, research. Fleet commanders, why do you have 10 shots? Let's take a
All
look.
of the above.
Yeah, but you don't have any shot multipliers there. You've got 5 of 11. How do you have 10 shots?
Is there a forbidden tech that's doing that?
Well, he's definitely double shotting it for sure. He's got...
Oh, is fortification still rolling here in this? Yeah, it's max fort. That's what it was.
Okay, fortification. A modifier.
Would be great if that was in the battle log.
Sure would be, but battle logs are one of the worst statistical things that exist in this game. All right, max fortification. Thank you, Burton. That is a modifier. What should have happened is he should have gotten 4 shots. Then the target comes back for a volley. All right. Now, Griffin, scroll on down in your battle log. Oh, you've lost the battle log.
No, I'm just showing you There's your max fort and the why it did it, right?
Increasing the number of shots per weapon for 3 rounds while max fortified. 155%. So if we take 4 shots and we multiply, that's the perfect math right there. By the way, formula for efficiency is 1 plus the sum of all bonuses. So that means we're going to multiply 4 shots times 2.55. That gives us 4 shots times 2.55 gives us the 10 shots that we just saw on the log. Perfect math. Okay.
Bingo.
Again, this is another core thing. The formula for bonuses is always base plus your sum of bonuses. Why did his bonus say 155? So why did I multiply it by 2.55? Well, the bonus was 155%. But you got to remember, you still have your 100% at base, right? We always have the 100%. We've always got our starting value. His starting value is 4 shots. His bonus, while max fortified, was 155%. So what is our total sum of shots? What is our total sum of shots? It's not 155%. It's actually 255%. We're going to take the 4, multiply it by 255%, 10.2. How many shots did he take on that first weapon? He got 10 shots.
10.
Okay, there's the math. That was because of max fortification. Now, Griffin, go back to your battle log, scroll after your 10 shots. Now we see the Borg Cube. Okay, let's flip back to our screen, take a look at the Borg Cube, and see what its firing pattern is supposed to be. Okay, the Borg Cube, same thing. A very attractive firing pattern. 4 weapons, firing 3. Now, he's max fortified. Let's see if we can predict how many shots are going to show up. 3 times 2.55. I'm going to guess we're going to see 8 shots from the Borg Cube off of weapon number 1. Let's go back to the battle log and count them up. Okay, there's 1. Is that the first one? 1, 2.
Yep.
Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 shots from the Borg Cube. Now, why do we see Enterprise dealing 0% damage? That's the next event.
Because it's a terrible ship. I never should have brought it.
No.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, maybe. Okay. The Enterprise E. Let's look at its firing pattern. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Its first weapon doesn't fire.
In fact, only one of its weapons fired the whole entire first round. What is Griffin thinking?
The Enterprise E overfloweth with amazing damage. All right. First weapon doesn't fire. Second weapon doesn't fire. Third weapon doesn't fire. All right. Let's go back to the battle log. So Enterprise is not going to fire. What happens next?
We're procking more.
We're procking more.
Why
are we procking? Why are we procking? Why are we procking in the middle of a round? I don't understand it. Uh-oh.
I'll tell you, DJs, because the next proc is Gorkon. Gorkon had a 90% chance to cause hold breach for 3 rounds when hitting with a critical hit.
That's right. So I
hit with a critical hit. Boom, proc.
We hit with a critical hit. No, not boom, proc. We hit with a critical hit. We have a 90% chance. Now we are checking the proc. Right here. Officer abilities firing. Okay? We hit with a critical chance. That satisfied the condition for Gorkon to run his procedure. His procedure was RNG, 90% chance to inspire hull breach. So just by us hitting with that critical hit, Gorkon now lights up. Gorkon's process runs, and we've got a 10% chance to not fire, a 90% chance for it to fire. And we can see here that we did indeed get our 90% chance for it to fire. Okay? Interestingly, and this, by the way, all happens after the first round of volley. Meaning, the target hit us with one weapon. We fired back with our first weapon of all 3 ships. That is considered 1 sub-round. That is a sub-round.
Volley, same thing. Tomato, tomato, right?
A volley, yeah. A back and forth, 1 series. But by the way, that's not the entire round, is it? because I still have a second shot, a third shot, a fourth shot, and a fifth shot. And that's on the Enterprise.
And more procking.
More procking.
Riker procced and Chang procced, both because their conditions were met after the first volley.
That's right. Coming back over here, I still got three more volleys. Okay? So, now Cruzito says it doesn't show it being hit. No. Go back. Go back up just a little bit, Griffin, to the Enterprise throwing 0 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a bug. Thank you, Scopely. This is a bug. It doesn't mean that you actually threw 0 damage. It actually means that it's charging its weapon for the next round. This is, yet again, another bug with the glorious combat system that exists inside battle logs. Really, battle logs got to get cleaned up. They got to get cleaned up. It's one of the sloppiest pieces of this game. Okay? Got to clean it up. That is a charge. Okay? So, then we're going to continue on. We've got the end of our sub round. We've got Gorkon procking, Enterprise E Riker procking, Chang procking. What happens next?
Ooh, the next sub round. So the other ship is going to hit again.
There you go. The next ship is going to hit us. We begin our second volley. The target's going to hit us. Now we come back over. Let's come back and check the Vengeance firing pattern again, because this is key. We see right here the Vengeance is actually charging weapons. Why would it be charging weapons? Well, let's look at the firing pattern. Does the Vengeance actually have a weapon to fire in the second volley? It does not.
No, it's charging.
It's
only
charging up. Charging up. So next, though, we would have the Borg Cube, which we already established does fire a shot. We are still max fortified, so we would expect, I believe, 8 shots out of the Borg Cube? Count them up.
Yep. And we do have 8.
There we've got 8, and we already looked at the poo-poo firing pattern of the Enterprise E. Again, charging weapons. This time it shows 0%, which is at least it shows charging this time, but it's not 0%. It should be like 18 or 17%. Let me go back and check. If we look at the Enterprise, I'll tell you what that should say, because again, battle logs are one of the most broken things about this game. Enterprise E firing pattern. It should be 25% charged. So where it shows 0% charged, that's bug. It should be 25% charged, because we can see
that
second weapon isn't going to fire until the 5th round. So 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%, and then it actually fires. Cruzito said, so where is it actually showing that it's hitting? It won't. That weapon won't hit until round 5. Okay. Yep. No, Divine. It'll be 25% because it'll always charge to 100% in the round before it fires. So it'll be charging to 25, charging to 50, charging to 75, charging to 100, and then it'll finally fire. Okay. But good call.
That's what happens here in Vengeance, and the second sub round ending. You'll see that very thing happen. Its third ship weapon is 100% charged, but it's not actually firing.
It will fire in the next round. That weapon will fire in the next round. So we've got 8 shots from the Borg Cube. Perfect. We're going to go down. We know the Enterprise is not going to fire. Thus, the end of this sub round, the second volley.
Well, with one exception, we did have Chang proc again. And Chang, and this is the antithesis, the opposite of the first example, which is great. Chang does have a 50% chance to delay the opponent's next weapon fire for 1 round with a critical hit on a hull breach. So we did have a critical hit on a hull breach, which means that Chang's condition did appear here. And now we're starting sub round 3, but it looks like that 50% chance failed. Because here you can see in sub round 3, my opponent did in fact fire. And that's not a bug.
Nope. That is incorrect.
What?
Chang.
How can it be incorrect? It's right there.
Nope. Chang impacts the weapon that he procced right after. So scroll up. It's going to be sub round number 2 of that target. Now, if you want proof, go to round 2, and we're going to look at the
I'm right here. Oh, the next round. Oh, so we're not talking about a sub round. We're talking about round
the actual,
2, not sub round.
If we're looking at our screen, see, that's the difference. Sub rounds versus rounds, or the volleys versus an actual round separator. So you've got the start of round, but then you also have the sub round. The sub round is taking into account the number of weapons that you've got, 6 or 7. And then the start and the end of the round is after everything finishes in that round. And then we proceed to round 2. So in Griffin's case, if we went to round 2 and looked for sub round 2, we're going to see that weapon did not fire. So there's sub round 1. We're going to go to sub round number 2, and boom.
He's right.
Charging weapons to 100%. It delayed it by 1 round, so we're charging to 100% because that weapon will fire again in the next round. Now, that is a pretty significant ability of Chang because he's basically skipping an entire gun. Not a whole round, but that gun for 1 round. So, in theory, he could proc multiple times per round. Let's, in theory, pretend that he procced every sub-round. Well, that means in round 2, you would take no damage from the target if he procced every single time. But the odds are not in your favor of that, of course. All right. But if he did,
50-50,
that could happen. Well, 50-50 4 times. What's the math on that? 25, then 12.5, then 6 1/4. Is that right, Putz? So you'd have a 6.25% chance for him to proc every single weapon in a 4 sub-round fight. Well, it's not terrible odds. I guess I'd take those odds. All right. So we're going back around.
But keep in mind that he would have, for you to not take damage from their first weapon in the next round, he would have to proc at the very end, and you would have to have more weapons fire than they do.
No, he fires at the end of every sub round. So you'd have to make sure that you're firing a shot every sub round. The Borg Cube can guarantee that. All right, the Borg Cube could guarantee that. The Vengeance cannot, and the Enterprise E cannot because they skip sub rounds. All right, but the Borg Cube does guarantee at least the opportunity for him to proc. Doesn't guarantee that he will proc because he's 50-50. All right, but it does guarantee you the opportunity for his RNG to trigger. Okay. And then, of course, you got to have the critical chance build, which is how all this stuff builds, right? You've got to have critical chance high enough so that you are firing critical shots so that Chang can maybe have a 50% chance. That's right, Gandalf. All the math all ties together. It's crazy. Okay? It's also what's beautiful about this game. All right?
Indeed.
Now, let's go.
It's a crit hit.
A critical hit is, oh, God, I hate this definition of a crit. All right, a critical hit is a 50%, please tell me it's 50% boost to your net damage output after all research and modifiers.
Not 150%, 50% on top of base.
It's a 50% bonus, all right? 50% bonus, so the way we do bonuses is 1 plus the sum of bonuses. It'd be 1.5. A critical hit, no. That is incorrect. I am wrong.
That's hull breach.
That is hull breach. That's hull breach. Critical. Yeah, see? Look, chaos. Doy. All right. Let's take a look at what it means in the game. A critical hit actually is a modifier stat. Go under your attack for your ship bonus, and you can find, and it's going to be different for everybody, your critical damage. Critical damage is a bonus stat that is going to be different for all players. And by the way, it can also be different from what we see right here as to what happens in combat because of triggers and processes. Okay? So, in the particular case that I am looking at right now on my Crencha, which I'll put in the graphics room, my critical damage bonus is 445%. Now, this is what gets just a little bit tricky. Is this a critical bonus or is it total crit damage?
Oh, I don't know.
Kill first can answer the question. Is this a crit bonus or is this total crit damage? In other words, if I score a critical hit, am I doing 445% more or 545%? Riskbreaker says it's a total. Sugar Red says it's a modifier.
Ooh.
The question or the answer
the Final
is
Jeopardy music.
The answer is the critical damage is the amount of damage. It's including your base. It is not a bonus. In my particular case right here, 445% means that I am throwing 445% of my normal damage, not 445 plus 100. Okay? Now, Divine says he calls it a modifier because it has extras on top. No. I'm talking about the critical damage ability itself. Other modifiers can improve my critical damage. My point that I'm asking is critical damage a bonus or is it the total stat? It is indeed the total stat, which is why crit floor had to be introduced, because this number can indeed hit 0. If you recall, Gala was doing this. This is why crit floor came into point. If it was 100% plus critical damage, then I would always have 100%. If I reduced critical damage, in this case, by 445%, I would still have my 100% base, right? Well, we didn't. That's why critical floor had to be introduced, because 445 could be reduced by 445 and therefore allow you to throw a 0 shot. Critical floor.
Like the whole time.
The whole round. All right. So this is an example of a total stat, meaning I'm going to take my shot, my standard shot, and I'm just going to multiply by 4.45. I don't get to add the 100% base in there because this is not a bonus. It is indeed the actual stat. Retrieving says, good Lord, this is next level even for me. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Really, I'm going to take another 30-second timeout for editorial. The math of this game is the most beautiful thing of any game I have ever seen in my entire life. Honestly, the math in this game is beautiful. The code is trash because the math doesn't work half the time. All right? But the math and how everything interacts, the original envisioners, the original designers of how this game works, beautiful. Beautiful. This game has some of the most beautiful math ever. Ever. In any game I've ever seen before. If only it always worked. Anyway, all right.
Worthy of a college course, worthy of at least a handbook.
For sure. All right. But critical damage, 445% is the total stat. Okay. So I don't remember why we were
asking
had
nothing to do with Chang. I don't know why we're talking about it specifically.
Yeah,
Chang
who put us on a credit? Tarpy.
When there's a critical hit, you get whole breach.
All right. Yeah. So going back to Griffin's battle log, a crit is by definition just an increase to your overall damage. A critical shot, a critical strike, a super powerful punch, if you will. And by the way, there is indeed a chance to proc that as well. If you take a look, my basic critical chance is only 22%. There are modifiers that improve that through artifacts, officer abilities, researches, primes, chaos tech, forbidden tech, Cerritos buff, boost, Titan buff.
Well, yeah. Riker is one of them. That's why Riker and Chang get along so well here.
They sure do. All right. So there are a lot of things that modify critical chance as well. But as you guys saw, my base is 22%. That's where I start. Okay. So anyway, we come over. Chang fires end of sub round number 2. We begin sub round number 3. The target attacks us. The Vengeance does not fire yet again. Is that correct? The Vengeance doesn't fire again for sub round number 3. Let's go back and double check. Vengeance, sub round 3. And indeed, that is correct. Sub round 3 does not fire. Okay. So it boofed. All right. We come back into the Borg Cube. We should get another 8 shots off the Borg Cube, which indeed we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There it is. And the Enterprise E fails to fire again.
Again.
Whee! All right. Now, interesting. Look here. That's the end of sub-round 3. We see it because Chang procced.
Mm-hmm.
But why doesn't the hostile fire back? Why does the Vengeance get to just throw in and start again? Well, I'm going to... No, go back. Stop it.
Oh, you're right.
Quit getting out of order. Quit getting out of order. Let's take a look at this is an Explorer. The Assimilated Gaylord class level 73 hostile. Interesting, Griffin. It only has 3 weapons.
Out of volleys. No more volleys for you. You lose.
No more volleys. No, Cruzito, it was not delayed from the previous round. We've already had 3 sub-rounds, right? Our Borg Cube has fired 3 weapons. The Vengeance fired 1 and charged on the other 2. And the Enterprise E still hasn't fired a shot.
And Chang has not stopped anything from happening yet because Chang isn't going to stop anything, as we just learned, until round 2.
Chang hasn't stopped anything yet because Chang's ability doesn't fire or doesn't have effect until the second round. The reason that it didn't fire back is because he is out of volleys. This is the firing pattern for the hostile that just came at Griffin. There are only 3 weapons. So when it comes time for sub-round 4, there's nothing. So coming back into the battle log, the target is out of shots. So we go straight back into the Vengeance. The Vengeance is going to get 10 shots because it's 4 multiplied by 2.55. Count them up. There should be 10 shots there.
7, 8, 9, 10. Done.
Borg Cube's going to get you 8. Borg Cube's going to get you 8 more.
There's 8.
And the Enterprise
fires.
Finally fires. Yes! All right. The Enterprise E finally fires. Now, nothing. That's it. All right. All 3 ships fire. We're at the end of sub-round number 4. Now, interesting. We see some more officers proccing at the end of sub-round 4. And I see one more weird thing. I see the Enterprise charging a weapon. Why?
Weapon 5. Why?
Weapon number 5. So after the end of all those things, we actually begin sub-round number 5. The hostile has no shots left. The Vengeance has no shots left. The Borg Cube doesn't even have any shots left. The only thing that has a shot left is the Enterprise E, and it doesn't actually have a shot, but it does have a weapon, so it goes into sub-round number 5. All right, so we see that it's charging. That's it. No shots happened. No damage occurred. No procs to be had. We charge the Enterprise weapon. End of the round. Done. Now it's going to come in and it's going to check for any of the other abilities that we might have had, right? Just as a simple note, burning doesn't show on the battle log. So if you had burning, then it just doesn't show up here. And I'm sure that Griffin had burning, right? You have burning?
Well, hold on. I have it via Giorgio, which did proc at the very beginning of the battle because that's how she works.
Right. But what I'm referring to is the damage loss that it takes. It doesn't actually have an entry in the battle log where you can see how much damage came off. But
no, after 7 years, it still doesn't, which I don't understand why.
Oh, because again, the battle logs are trash in this game. All right, but that ends round 1. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, after all of that, we finally finish all of these things, one entire round. All of that happened in one round. And now you know how to break down a battle log.
There you go.
Okay. Then we start all over again, round 2. At the start of each round, let's go back to Griffin's round 2. At the start of each round, Giorgio has an 80% chance to deal burning for 2 rounds at the start of each round. All right, so Giorgio had an 80% chance to proc, and she does. At the start of each round, Kirk has an 80% chance to inspire morale. At the round start, Pick Hugh repairs 20% of hull damage taken in the previous round of combat.
which we don't see up here. I don't know why.
Yeah,
isn't there normally a line?
Yeah, there is normally a line.
It shows that repair.
Yeah. Scroll down just a little bit. I'm curious if it shows up a little later. Because did your vengeance? Yeah, vengeance. Yeah, interesting. It should. There's. Hey, look at that. Battle log's broken.
No.
Battle log's broken. Battle log's broken. All right. So anyway, there you go. And then you go into round 2. Now, good question. Yeah. Bensai says this all happens in 5 seconds. All rounds.
Exactly.
So how long is each round? Instantaneous. Blink of an eye. Okay. The calculation is done instantaneously, Bensai, minus a little bit of lag. The graphic, the animation for battle is what takes 6 seconds. All right. Now, in the case where sometimes battle is longer than 6 seconds, that's because we are having lag trying to resolve the battle. All right. 6 seconds on a good day. All right. Jules said, did the cube actually take damage? Good question.
Because we are not, the cube is not the target of this hostile.
Only guess what?
The interceptor is.
Well,
thus,
guess what?
Nothing for Hugh to repair, right?
You got it. Hugh didn't repair anything because the Borg cube didn't lose anything. All right. So there you go. Interesting. All right. There you go. That is breaking down a battle log. Now, so much, and we're out of time. I'm going to do one more thing here, Tarpy. Let's talk about the states and proc order. Okay? We're going to jam all this in, and then we can talk more about it on another show as far as how to strategize around this stuff. Okay? But that is reading a battle log and why proc order matters. Start of round, start of combat, at the end of a round, when you take a shot, when you take damage, et cetera, et cetera. Okay?
Beautiful.
That all matters. Now, quick question. If in an outpost you had the capability of putting hull breach on every one of your ships, would you and why? Matters, question for you.
Shoot.
If I am going... Now, remember, there's 2 different targets here. We're talking Outpost, and then we're talking about the other 72 retaliation targets. Okay? So, let's break them up. Retaliation targets. If I can put hull breach on every single ship, do I and why? Oh, boy, chat has this one wrong, Matters. Tell me why, Matters.
They do.
Yes, they do.
I hope I'm not wrong.
Well, give me the answer. Let's find out. So far, we've all been wrong on something today, which is exactly the beauty of this message, the beauty of this show. Tarpy, you're a freaking genius.
I mean, it depends. If I'm punching way up and I feel like it's likely that I'm going to end up losing some of my ships throughout the progress of hitting the retaliations, then yes, maybe I would, just to make sure that I keep hull breach forever. If they were like close enough in power that I'm not sure which order they're going to be dropping off. Otherwise, no, because you only need one to trigger hull breach on the enemy.
I'm sorry. Thanks for playing.
Oh, that's where he got you. You were doing so well.
You know what? Listen, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't trip everybody up today, okay? Sorry. That's where I got you. Riskbreaker says, yep, for the hostiles, you would, if you could. By the way, the game doesn't give you an opportunity to do that as of right now. But you would want to put it on every single ship. And why? Because the revenge target is going to target a different ship every single time. Uh-oh.
What? Did you?
Hold on. I'm backing up. I might have to actually sit down and be wrong. Give me a second. I got to follow this through. Damn it. Matters was right again.
Thank you.
Here's the deal.
Never gets old.
All right. So wait a second. No, Riskbreaker or retrieving. No, the revenge hostiles do not only attack one ship. We just saw evidence of that. Okay. It does not only attack one ship. It attacks all the ships. However, Lorca, who you would fire hull breach with, is a start of round trigger. That's right. So all of your start of round triggers are going to fire before the first sub round. So Matters was right. Damn it, I was wrong. I almost had him. I thought I had him. They attack in triangle order.
No.
They attack in triangle order, Brett. But your start of round procs, let's come back. Your start of round procs still actually happen before the sub round starts. Okay. So you've got start of round, hull repair. That's all fine and good. Your officer abilities are going to, a kill first. I think the officer abilities. Oh, wait, this is at start of round. You know what? If it's start of sub round, I think we might have found a small little order of operations bug here. I think officer abilities that apply at the start of round go outside of the sub round.
Mm-hmm.
Because Gigi, Lorca would fire before the sub round begins. They proc before the sub round begins. Griffin, go back to your battle log all the way to the very, very top. Round one, please.
Coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Giorgio. There we go. Giorgio procced before the sub round began. So did Kirk.
Yep.
So you're right. Hull breach still only needs to go on one. If it's hull breach by Lorca. Now, if it's hull breach by Gorkon, different story. Why would that be? Because Gorkon requires a combat trigger. Gorkon requires you to hit your target with a critical shot in order to inspire hull breach. Lorca just gives you a...
I knew I should have kept Lorca on. Ooh!
Oh, yeah. Lorca's definitely better than Gorkon. Gorkon procs off of a hit. All right? Which means you're in the sub round.
That's a dangerous claim.
What?
I love me some Gorkon.
Well,
But Gorkon,
according to my
won't
battle
proc.
logs, he failed.
Gorkon won't proc until the sub round begins. You have to fire a critical shot in order for Gorkon to inspire hull breach. All right. But
Right.
Gorkon will inspire hull breach for what? 3 rounds? Lorca only goes 2.
Yeah.
But Gorkon does have a better proc chance. If you've got a 100% crit chance, then Gorkon has a 90% chance to inspire hull breach, where Lorca's only 80. Okay? So, very, very interesting. Packet says, I would put Lorca on the ship that will survive the longest and Gorkon on another ship for insurance. Well, you don't really...
Oh, Cruzito. Oh.
What did he say?
Cruzito says, Griffin seems to always have issues with Lorca capitalized.
I mean, you do.
God bless it.
You don't like Lorca.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, that's a problem of yours.
He's in the office
What's
right next door to
Lorca?
me. We're best friends,
Yeah.
Cruzito.
So,
Who's Lorca?
I was trying to trip up Matters, and I actually tripped myself up. Lorca is
Matters got you on that one.
Matters got me. Lorca is a pre-battle, like a round start proc and not a sub-round proc, which does lead me to wonder about this particular piece right here. I think that goes outside the sub-round because officer abilities at the start of each round will only have the opportunity to fire one time. Now, once you're in the sub-round, you have another area of officer ability. See, here's another one. You've got officer abilities firing right here under the attack. But yeah, this particular section of officer abilities does belong in the start of round. But either way, it gives you a little bit of an idea about where things actually proc. And yes, I was trying to trip Matters up, and he shot me down. If you've got something that fires at the start of each round, then it happens before anybody fires. Okay? This is very, very important to note. It happens before anybody fires anything. So you've got an opportunity there for it to proc. Okay? Now, here is what is somewhat interesting. Let's flip it around the other way. Okay? Let's flip it around the other way. Let's say that we are going in on an armada. Okay? Let's say we're going into an armada, a group armada, Griffin. I'm going to go. You're going to come along. Matters is going to come along. Okay? I'm the starter. let's pretend that I am running an interceptor and I do not bring hull breach because, Griffin, you're going to bring hull breach. But I'm the starter. Okay? So that means that you've got the next most powerful ship, so you're going to go second in the battle log, right? When I am looking at a beginning of round proc, I'm the first ship, which means all of my pre-round procs are going to check. When I go first, do I have hull breach?
Oh, no, because I haven't procced yet.
So I do not have it, but I'm flying an interceptor and I've got artifacts and research and all this stuff that requires hull breach. Do I have hull breach?
You should have brought the hull breach.
I should have brought the hull breach. That's right. Because at the time that the system checks me, which is going to be first, I don't have hull breach because I didn't bring it. Now, Griffin goes second. It's going to check. Griffin, have you inspired hull breach against the target? Does the target indeed have hull breach? Well, yes, it does, because you have now inspired hull breach. You have struck the enemy with hull breach because of your Lorca. Okay? Now, let's pretend that it is Lorca, and it goes 2 rounds. Okay? So now Griffin inspires hull breach, and then it's going to check matters. Now, because Griffin inspired hull breach, now the target has hull breach. All of his artifacts and everything are going to proc. It's there for everyone else until it expires. Matters if he has abilities that depend, or artifacts or chaos techs that depend on hull breach. Does he have it? Yes, he does. Applies hull breach, not inspires. Sorry, applies hull breach. Yes. Okay. Now, Lorca, as an example, procs for 2 rounds. So we finished the first round of combat. Round 2 begins. Will my ship now get the benefit of my buffs that apply to my ship if the target has hull breach?
Of course.
Because the target still has hull breach, right? Now, let's go through the second round of combat, and let's pretend that Lorca did not fire for Griffin on the beginning of round 2. So now, round 2 ends, hull breach turns off. Round 3 begins. Do I get the benefit of hull breach?
No.
I don't. What if Griffin procs hull breach in round 3? Do I get the benefit of hull breach?
In round 4.
In round 4. There you go. Okay? Very important in order of operations. This matters for group armadas. It matters for formation armadas. And I'm going to just dangle this little carrot here. This is why the Spock down bug is a big deal. This is why Anorax.
But let me ask you this, DJ, or, because we talked about
big deal.
We talked about rounds. We talked about sub rounds. Let's say both of our ships have 3 weapons which fire in round 3. You went first. I went second. But now you have sub round 2 rolling around, and my Lorca procced at the beginning of sub round 1 for me. Now it's your sub round 2.
No.
Wouldn't you then have hull breach then?
Nope. Because the conditions are checked at the beginning of the round, not inside the sub round. Lorca procs. Yeah, Lorca procs at round start, not at the beginning of the weapon volley. Otherwise, he would be a after each shot or before each shot. That is a sub round. When you see something that talks about per weapon, those are sub rounds. If it says start of round, it checks one time only, and it's at the very beginning of the round before any of the sub round stuff starts.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, there you have it. You're screwed.
Well, as a starter, I always want to make sure that I bring the states. Okay? Let this be a small lesson to those of you running formation armadas that are sending NX-01s or Voyagers. Okay? Not that it necessarily super duper matters. All right? But if you want the benefit of not being the teeny tiniest and the weakest, which you're still going to be in a Voyager or an NX-01, but you can do just a tiny little bit more damage, if you have the benefit of your artifacts, which should then inspire you to bring everything, bring burning, bring hull breach, do all of that stuff, and do it for the rest of your team. Okay? And that's right, Packet. He says, unless you're little, then a Spock down could nerf a stronger player. Yeah, but that's only on statistic-based stuff. It will not impact a state. Okay? It doesn't impact a state. All right? But BLT doesn't work on Outpost, which is not necessarily where we were going. We were talking about armadas, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay? For example, if a little comes with a tier 1 B'Elanna, it does not affect Griffin's tier 5 B'Elanna. It only affects statistic-based bonuses. Okay? Which is something totally different, which we're not going to talk about today. Okay?
That'll give us a brain bleed.
Yeah. Yeah, it would. All right. So, questions out of chat.
I did see something while we're calling the questions. I did see something funny about this last battle log, DJs. This is the one that proved that matters was right, where I lost both ships to the assimilated outpost hostile.
Okay.
Right. In the battle log, I lost the first ship, the Enterprise, on round 5.
Okay.
After round 5, look at the battle log. Nothing appears except for literally the very start of the round.
What?
Scopely, we have some work to do. We have some work to do.
All right, Nichols has a great question. Love this question, Nichols. Thank you. He says, since Gorkon procs in the middle, do the artifacts and such activate on the sub rounds? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they do, because that
Great
happens in the sub round. So let's look at Gorkon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's look at Gorkon's officer ability. Let me pull that up in my game. Gorkon's officer ability. Let me find him here for you real quick.
I got you. Okay, you're there. Okay.
No, I'm not there. You're probably there closer than I am. I still don't have him. I don't know where he is. Can't find the daggone guy.
He's at the beginning. He's Gorkon. We're looking for Gorkon, right? Gorkon. Gorkon.
Where you at, Gorkon? Yo, yo, yo.
I got him, dude.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Oh, you have him. Okay, there you go. Gorkon. When the ship hits the opponent with a critical hit, Gorkon then has a 90% chance of causing a hull breach for 3 rounds. There is why it matters. Okay? So, sub round, let's say sub round number 2. The ship hits the opponent with a critical hit matters. Then the prerequisite is satisfied. And we've got a 90% chance for Gorkon to apply hull breach for 3 rounds.
Excellent.
Now, let's pretend that we are in round 1, sub round 2, and that happens. When does hull breach actually apply?
Sub round 3.
Should be
for everybody.
End of sub round 2, right?
It will technically occur at the very end of sub round 2 because he is a post sub round conditional check. It will technically be applied at the end of sub round 2 and will be effective for everybody at the beginning of sub round 3. When does it expire?
So it ticks down. The rounds tick down at the end of each round. So it would it would last the remaining of that round and 2 rounds after. It doesn't go through partway through a round.
End of round 3 is the correct answer, Riskbreaker. The end of round 3, because round 1, where he procs, actually counts as his first of 3 rounds. All right. Now, Kill First is actually blowing my brain right here. I want to come back, Kill First, because you're the guy that can answer this. Okay? He says most artifacts have a round start trigger, which is technically checked in sub round 1. No way. Really? Are you serious?
Not the beginning, but wow, that's
sub round 1? Well, that changes everything that I thought about the beginning round procs. So you're telling me if I go to an Armada, I don't bring Hull Breach, I'm the starter. Griffin goes number 2. He brings a Lorca. My artifact will check at the beginning of sub-round 1?
But not sub-round 2, 3, or 4, meaning that if it doesn't proc until sub-round 2, then...
Sub-rounds are every round. Sub-rounds are every sub-round. There's not a sub-round 1, sub-round 2. It's just all the sub-rounds, okay? Sub-round, there's no different procedure for a sub-round 1 versus sub-round 2. So you're telling me that if he brings Hull Breach as the second player, as number 2, I will still get the benefit of Hull Breach when I start the fire in sub-round 1? That's very interesting. Like it. I actually like that. So, So when does... No. Hey, listen, I trust Kill First more than anybody in chat. Kill First is literally our modern day Ripper. He sees all the code. He knows what this code is. You're sure about that, Kill First?
He seems very sure.
He does seem very sure. Is that something that's changed in the last couple of years? Maybe. If I go first, Griffin goes second, he brings Lorca. I mean, that should be easy enough to test. Lorca's pre-combat. Chaos Techs and Forbidden Techs are where it begins. You know what? He's right. I was still right in my scenario. The Forbidden Techs, Chaos Techs are going to check in sub-round 1. But as far as my normal shots, Kill First, right, it depends on the trigger. Depends on the trigger. Just for my normal shot, I'm not going to necessarily apply Hull Breach with my basic shot. But the artifacts that would give me a bonus to my isolytic, and that's what artifacts are. Artifacts are isolytic and cascade. So I am not going to get the benefit of Hull Breach on my basic shot. But I am going to get the benefit of the isolytic boost as a result of my artifacts on my shot. Wow.
You know, it has occurred to me that the original architects of the game, which created all this brilliant math that we enjoy, just could not have foreseen the level of detail in which we would want to really dig in to these battle logs and what we actually would love to see in the battle logs. And so I agree with you, DJs. I would love to have these logs revisited and have all of these starts and stops and this is working, this is not working, explained in greater detail, or at least working in the first place, up to and including having the sub rounds listed in the battle log instead of just the round. There are a lot of things that we would love to see here.
Kill First is agreeing, saying specifically your Gorkon scenario would not give you artifact benefit in the next sub round. All right, because the check only happens in the next subsequent round. Well, no, you just said, is it sub round that the artifact checks? You said artifacts. Oh no, wait, sorry. Okay, so artifacts are round start, but Chaos Techs and Forbidden Techs are sub round. See, now this is where Scopely doesn't know. This right here is a perfect example of where Scopely doesn't know. They don't know how their own code works. All right, perfect example right there. So artifacts, yeah, they know now. So artifacts are sub-round. No, artifacts are pre-round. Chaos Techs and Forbidden Techs are sub-round. Wow. See, I didn't even know that.
Wow.
Hey, Chaos, did you know
different
that one?
mechanics designed by different people.
Did you know that
makes
one?
Perfect sense. And
you know what? Chaos has been giving me grief all show, saying, shouldn't everybody know this? Did you know that? Did you know that? We might have actually taught you something right there. I bet he didn't know that. I bet he didn't know that one. Kill First taught him something.
And it
today.
also makes sense because the most recent technologies and deployed in the code are working the best. So it's an evolution. They figured out how to do it better. They just didn't go back and fix the first or earlier iterations, which is not surprising.
Oh yeah. Well, exactly. When the original coders built this and then new secondary coders come in, they are stacking the code on top of the other code and don't necessarily know where the original code was supposed to be. They just stack and stack and stack. And that is the problem that Fleet Command has, right? We just keep stacking and stacking. That's why when we introduce new things, old things break or things don't affect things in the same way. No, they definitely don't know that. I guarantee it.
Interesting. Rewrite the game.
Woo. Rewrite. Yeah. Listen, I've been advocating that for 3 or 4 years. Fleet Command 2.0. I don't think they're going to do
Rewrite
it.
the game.
I don't think they're going to do it.
I don't think so either.
Now, let me ask a legit question to some of you deep coders out there. Why would Fleet Command 2.0 not work? Why is it not going to work, Kill First? I would love to have Kill First actually pop on the stage for just 5 minutes and tell everybody why Fleet Command 2.0 won't work. No, Risk Breaker, it won't work. Because the parameters of our buffs and research and codes and all the parameters would not be importable to a new mechanic that actually changes the fundamentals of combat.
It'd be one. There's no decoder ring to bridge the gap.
That's
all
right.
of our accounts would be toast.
Well, there's
Yep.
figurative, too many skeletons in the closet.
Yes. Too much
As it
spaghetti
were.
code. That's right. Kill First and I have actually talked about this before. It is possible. It is theoretically possible for it to work. The reason that it won't is because all of the things that they've patched together to make it work right now would not be compatible with the new system of a more efficient way to apply buffs. The guys at Spock's Club can tell you that. The guys at anybody who decodes battle logs, any of that stuff. No, that's just it, Clark. You wouldn't be able to transfer account because all the buffs written in an efficient way, the way that it should be, all right, would not be just easily mapped to the existing buffs that we've got now. They would have to be calculated, joined, and a whole new table, a whole new buff table would have to be written if you were going to write this game over again. And that's why.
I wonder how many people are so frustrated with how the game works that they'd be willing to just, let's just all start over.
Not a chance.
At least then it would work better.
Not a chance. Nobody would. Nobody would
except
start
for all
over.
the people with alts.
The game is too expensive. Nobody would start over. And that's why Fleet Command 2.0 will probably never come. All right? Because there's literally a very small opportunity for them to kill first. I mean, it would be theoretically possible, but mathematically nearly impossible for them to actually translate our existing accounts with our existing buffs into a new buff engine that would actually work.
I have the answer. You just give every player a store credit in the amount of everything that we spent to get us back where we were. Spend it how you want.
I mean, in theory, that would work.
Yeah, it's not a refund. It's just spend it how you want. You're welcome. I've solved everybody's problem once again. Thank you for tuning in to Talking Trek. I'll be
And that is that, everybody. There you go. Back to basics. Mechanics of combat. Mechanics of the triangle. The mechanics of choosing where and who procs first. Very, very interesting stuff. These are the true root mechanics of Star Trek Fleet Command. I hope that this episode taught everybody something, even you, General Chaos. I hope that you learned something here today. I hope everybody learned something. This is actually how the game works and why Tarpy thought to come up with this show, because all of this stuff matters now that we have a new target that is confusing people. Why are some ships getting hit?
What?
And why are other shits not getting hit? Okay? In what order do they get hit? Why does the triangle matter? Why does this ship take damage this round, but that ship takes damage in the next round? Why is this hostile hitting my Vengeance first and then my Enterprise first and another one? Big or little shits, it doesn't really matter.
What?
All right?
Okay.
Ships with a P.
He said ships.
S-H-I-P.
He said ships.
With a P.
Of
Goodness
course.
gracious.
Of
Guys,
course.
there you go. basic battle mechanics. And we'll talk about this more. I hope that this stirs controversy. I hope that it stirs conversation. I hope that it stirs strategy. I hope you guys all learn and figure out a way to make Outpost and Armadas and solo Armadas and all of the other things work for you. This is Combat Mechanics. My name is UltimatDJz, thanking you for being here and inviting you to visit our website at TalkingTrekSTFC.com. That's TalkingTrekSTFC.com, where you can find links over to our YouTube channel, where we're going to put this up. I have no idea how long it's going to take Griffin to cut this up. This one, I don't even know if it's worth a shot. This may just be put it up and listen to it as you can, because every which way you turn, there was great information on how the game works and the math behind the game. Yeah, we got done on time. Got to, because I'm going to take an hour break. Studio B starts in exactly 62 minutes, everybody. Bonus Studio B. You can find a replay from last night also at our website at TalkingTrekSTFC.com by linking over to our Patreon channel. You can find our Teaching Trek YouTube shorts over on the YouTube channel. You can find merchandise, our brand new Christmas, our ugly Christmas sweater, I believe, is up. Candy White's got that up. Also, Save a Whale and Hold My Beer merchandise available for the holidays for you. Thank you for listening to Talking Trek, a registered trademark and recorded in front of a live studio audience for distribution across podcast platforms everywhere. I'm your friendly neighborhood cat person, UltimatDJz.
And I'm Griffin, saying meow for now, love you, mean it, and we'll see you on the next one.
Good night, everybody.
Meow.